As we head into week 7, the injury bug is running rampant, and to no one's surprise, we have 3 Dodgers that you must add and more on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominic Martino, as always with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, Matthew Wane. And guys, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit the little bell below. It's going to subscribe you to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Or if you're listening on the audio side of things on an app platform like Apple or Spotify, that allows 5-star ratings and reviews. We would truly appreciate it if you could do that for us as well. And this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. And all right, guys, we're talking must-add players today. As always, that's how we do it around here if you know the schedule. If not, hey, we do must-add players at the beginning of the week and the end of the week. So, that's what we're here for. And Matt, we're Yankee fans if you guys don't know. And it kind of stinks that we got 3 Dodgers. But you know what? With all the injuries going around, you got to get some of these guys on your team. And Matt, no better way to start off with one. So why don't you take the wheel here, brother?
Yeah, why not? I mean, we mentioned them on Friday or Thursday, whenever I did that episode, and it's time to bring them back up again. Tony Gonsolin of, unfortunately, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And, look, finally coming off the injury and looks really good. Went 6, got the win, 9 Ks, 4.5 ERA, 1 whip, and got a quality start. Looks really good. Yes, it was against Miami, but still. The better part is on Tuesday, plays Miami again. Another cupcake. And he did this with first shot out the door. I want to see a repeat with better ERA, and I think it's coming. So he's a great add, 36% owned, and I think it's time we just add him everywhere. He should be universally owned. We know what the upside could possibly look like. When he does play a full season, it's just a matter of how many innings we're going to get out of him. Who knows? Maybe this is the only injury stint we see this season, and we get the rest rocking and rolling. Add him now. Do not be on the other side of this. Tony Gonsolin, quite honestly, could be your waiver wire MVP this season.
Yeah, Matt, I'm right on board with you. I love me some Tony G. I was a big Tony Gonsolin guy for a long time. In 2023, he went down with an injury, and, I think he was honestly dealing with it most of the year. I want to talk about his stats from 2019 to 2022, right? That's 51 starts, 59 games overall, 26 wins, 6 losses, 2.51 ERA for Gonsolin over that time. Also, 272 innings pitched, 267 strikeouts with a 0.98 whip. This guy's always been really good. He's got great stuff. He's very injury prone, though, so we're not going to bank on him to be there the whole season. But I believe Gonsolin's going to be very good while he was out there. Matt mentioned only the 3 earned runs, over 6 with 9 strikeouts in his first start against Miami. Gets them again this upcoming week. Only 36% owned on Yahoo. Matt, you broke it down really good. I don't have too much else to add, except he plays for those Dodgers. There's going to be a lot of win opportunity for him. Go out there and add Gonsolin while he's still only 36% owned on Yahoo. Let's talk about this next guy who's kind of been super exciting. It's Tomoyuki Sugano. Everyone thought Sasaki was going to be the guy coming overseas that we were all going to be all over, but Sugano's been really good. 39 innings, 21 strikeouts, a 3 ERA, a 1.13 whip, 3 quality starts. The guy's been great. He pitches for those Baltimore Orioles. If you're not familiar with Sugano, his last 2, 3, 4 starts have been fantastic. Only 1 start, which I consider really bad on the season. That was earlier in the year. Who does he get this week? It looks like, bear with me a second to see who Sugano has for you guys this week. But he's not going to be a big strikeout guy. Pitches a little bit more to contact, just gets guys out. It looks like the Angels this week for Sugano. So that's a cupcake matchup. He is only 23% owned on Yahoo. He's going to probably be one of the most added guys this week, if you ask me. I think he's should pretty much be added everywhere until he starts to get hit around. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I think he's just going to be kind of a mid threes ERA guy with good control, get you some wins on that solid Baltimore team. So go out there and add Tomoyuki Sugano almost everywhere. Maybe not in those shallower leagues, but in your 12 mans where you got at least 5 bench spots. I'm definitely thinking about adding him there, towards the end of my bench, and I don't think you're going to regret it.
Yo, facts. Great, well said. Honestly, I really have nothing left to add other than he probably should be getting the rise and the bumps, and let's see how this kind of goes. Let's move on. Let's talk about Lucas Giolito of those Boston Red Sox, another team that I'm just not too happy about. But it is what it is. We got to talk baseball, and you know what? We got to say, hey, this is just a guy I got to pick up. No, I'm done being a salty Yankee fan. So Giolito slotted in to play Tuesday against the Rangers. I don't know how I feel about the start, other than the fact that his last outing wasn't bad, and I got to pretty much say, hey, I kind of got to give it to him. First outing out, went against Toronto, went 6 deep, 7 Ks, a 4.5 ERA, a 117 WHIP, and got a quality start. I mean, overall, looked good. It's just fastball velocity, which has never really been, something of real wonders, sitting at 93 like always. But the only thing that's getting good movement right now is his fastball. Breaking pitches and off-speed pitches don't really have much movement. He didn't really produce ground balls in that first outing. Gave up a lot of hard contact. Average exit velocity during that game was 92.5 miles an hour. So it's a risky start, but if you're dealing with a lot of injuries, you might have to just go out there and roll them out essentially. Um, eh, eh, I'm one of those guys that kind of got bit by the injury bug early, and a lot of my pitching just has gone down. So he's a decent start, but again, Rangers do come with a little bit of risk at the end of the day, so you just got to watch out. Um, it looks like he's also getting a second start at the end of the week against Kansas City. So both matchups aren't the best, but again, in a pinch, I might roll him out for at least one of those, depending on what it looks like. I might pass on the first one and maybe roll him out in the second one, depending on how my weekend's looking. A little bit more of a riskier start this week, but again, the upside is there. I like what he did with his first outing. I might want to see if he can just repeat that. And I'll take that 4.5 ERA with those Ks and the quality start. You're a little muted, bro.
Yep, there you go. I'm back. So as you mentioned, I like that first start against Toronto on the 30th. 6 innings, 7 Ks, 3 earned, a 117 WHIP. Got the quality start, so we'll take that in Giolito's first start back. And the velocity looks spot on. The slider got hit every time. Almost every time he threw. Well, actually, every time he threw it. And that's what he needs to work on. Slider was always one of Giolito's, out pitches. So if he can get that working, he can at least be all right. He was always pretty solid before 2022 and 2023. Even if he could be a low 4s, high 3s ERA guy with over a K per 9, I think we'll take that for a pickup off the waiver wire. And, the whip for Giolito's always been a problem. So we're not going to count on him for that either. But Matt, you mentioned the 2-start week. What is it, Texas and Kansas City? And points leagues, we're definitely going to roll him out there because, he'll get you something when it comes to that. In your category leagues, I think if you're in a tough situation, as Matt mentioned, injury, stuff like that, you roll them out there for that first one. If it's not good, we're probably not going to roll them out there for that Kansas City start. I mean, it's really just, Vinny P, Bobby Witt, and somebody we're going to talk about a little bit later who have been hitting for that team. So there's not really too much to work around, but with Giolito just coming off the IL, we do want to be a little bit cautious with him. Let's go from a couple of starters there into actually, I'm going to tease it. We have a closer coming up next, then one more starter, and then we're going to get into the bats. And like I said, we got some Dodgers and more coming up next.
Okay. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Every weekend. Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track, which I do every week. That's where Modern Money kind of comes in, right? Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control of your finances. Modern Money isn't just budgeting app; it's a complete financial command center. I apologize. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place, so you can stop managing your money and start building wealth. when I started using Monarch Money, I realized just how much I spend on food delivery. And now, and maybe I just bring it down just a tad, but I didn't. I budget smarter. I save even more. It's easy to, collaborate, which is actually the biggest challenge with me and my wife, right? We manage money together. It makes things a little bit easier. Hey, look, this is why we can't afford this. And there's no more fighting. Like, look, we have to sacrifice this, or hey, we ordered so much food last week, we can't do this, right? It makes life easier, takes the stress out. It just helps, a money ecosystem kind of just be a little bit more smoother. And I like that. And me and my wife appreciate that. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use the code locked on MLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com and use the code locked on MLB for your first, for your half off your first year. And look, you want a little bit of an edge, you want to win. There's only one way to do it. You become a member of the Diamond Club. Look, we give you prospect updates. We give you, insight into every episode with, some kind of some highlighted stats, and you can ask us questions. We usually get back to you in about 24 hours, and you can consult us on trades. You can, you know, pickups, etc. Whatever kind of need you have, you're going to be able to get those questions asked and answered through the subtext links in the description below. You get a free 2 weeks to try it out, so check us out on there. But let's get back into it. I mean, what's the next one?
Yeah, I got this, my brother. Like I said, we have a closer up next, and it's a good one. It's Tommy Kahnle from Detroit, those Tigers over there. So it is a little bit of a co-closer situation. If you were with us, I think it was last week where we talked about Will Vest. He blew a save since then. Kahnle's picked up, I think, 2 since last time we talked about the closer situation in Detroit. Kahnle's been the better guy. I think it's going to be a mix and match, be a situational thing. I do like Kahnle a bit more than Vest. Kahnle's out there in 30. He's only owned in 33% leagues on Yahoo, which means he's 77% available. I'd go out there and snag him, man. The Detroit's been really good. They're winning games. Kahnle's never really been a closer before, but neither has Vest. But Kahnle's been a very, very successful. Very, very is a little bit exaggerated, but he's been a pretty successful reliever for a while in this league. 3.38 ERA over 386 innings with 464 strikeouts in his career. So Kahnle's got a pretty trustworthy thing here, but he's 35. Could go down with an injury at any point. I like it. The stuff's been good this year for Kahnle. Pick him up now. The ownership is definitely going to fly up this week. I think he'll be another guy towards the top of the most added players heading into week 7.
Yeah, and I mean, quite honestly, he if he keeps going on this, direction of just, hey, when I get my opportunities at saves and I don't blow him, he can get the full-time role. As much as everybody talks about, closer by committee, this isn't fantasy football where they're talking about running back by committee. Like, they would prefer a guy that they can kind of count on every single week. Just a matter of seeing who can actually just, hold on to the job. And I think Kahnle might be the guy with at least a little bit longer leash as he earns it and is more consistent. Let's see. I think we're going to get an answer really quickly because it's not like, I forgot the other guy's name because I'm a little out of it.
Will Vest.
Yeah, Vest has a long leash. And neither does Kahnle, but if Kahnle can prove that he could be a little bit more consistent right now, the leash will be a little bit longer. So I'd probably try and add him immediately just so that, I kind of have the lock on the situation there. And I wouldn't be opposed to owning both if I'm in that situation as well, just trying to get your hands on it. Let's move on. Let's talk about Jameson Taillon. Taillon playing for them Cubbies right now. You're right. Yeah, I'm out of it again. I apologize. So playing for them Cubs. And honestly, has been pretty decent. I mentioned him on Thursday, like, hey, a guy that I think, Taillon should be added. The matchups have been decent, and he's actually out there looking pretty good. Now, last start against Milwaukee on Saturday, went 6 innings deep, got 5 Ks, got the W, 3 ERA, 0.67 WHIP, and a what do you call it? And a quality start. Those are all wonderful things. Plus, the matchup this week, I believe, is pretty good too. He's going to it's the Mets, but I mean, it's not like
he does get Miami after that. He does get Miami in his next start after, which is good.
Yes, but I still might roll him out against the Mets. It's not like he hasn't gone out against better teams and performed. Handled Philly pretty well. handled Arizona, who's been pretty hot, pretty solid, handled San Diego, handled the Rangers. You know, I just I'm not scared to kind of roll him out in tougher matchups right now with the way he's pitching. Everything is screaming, hey, the kid is doing things right. He's getting great movement on his fastball, getting great movement on his off-speed pitches. Fastball velocity is just what it is always, but he's not giving up hard contact. He's suppressing that to 88.4 miles per hour on the average. Get guys to chase 31% of the time, not really walking guys. And these are all things you want to see. He's just doing the right thing on the mound, and it may not be the most sexiest. He may not be getting over a K per nine or anything of the sort, but at least he's producing. Expecting batting average on his four-seam fastballs at a 244, but guys are only hitting at a 214. The sweeper's getting hit around a little bit, but the expected batting average is a little bit better at 251. So let's just see how things kind of play out with Taillon. I definitely am not scared to roll him out, but again, there could be some consequences into doing that as well. So just pick your battle. If we get into when did I say he's pitching against them? The
Hold on, I had it pulled up. The ninth.
ninth, which is Friday. You'll pretty much have an expectation of what your situation is in pitching, and that's kind of where you make that choice. You don't have to decide today, but you could just see how your pitching opens up the weekend, and then if you can make that decision then.
Yeah, Matt, great take on Taillon, and I'm just going to pretty much wrap my statement up on him. He's just a solid pitcher. He's been a solid pitcher throughout his whole career. It's probably going to be a high 3 ERA under that K per nine, and an okay whip. He's not going to kill you in any one category. He's like that last pitcher on your roster. I don't ever think he's unless you're in a shallow league, like in a regular 12-man league, which most of our listeners play in, or most of you guys play in. He's just going to be that guy that's on your roster all year, that you just start him every time out. There's going to be a few bad ones, but most of them will be serviceable. I truly think Taillon should be way higher than 29% owned, especially on a great team like the Cubs, where he's going to win games and he's going to give you length. Has 4 quality starts already this year and has only thrown under 6 innings in 3 starts out of his 7. So love that from a guy like Taillon. Pick him up now. Let's get into the bats. Let's talk some hitters here. And let's start with Dodger here, Andy Pages. And man, a former high-end prospect, really having a solid start this year with the Dodgers. Been hitting like between 6th and 9th in this lineup. I prefer him hitting 9th than 6th, 7th, or 8th because, kind of gets that turnover in the top of the lineup, driving him in. So far, through his first 30 games, Andy Pages, which is spelled Pages if you're not familiar with him, 269 batting average, 15 runs, 6 homers, 14 RBIs, 3 steals. Just a solid young player that, the Dodgers do this all the time, man. They just go out there and get these great young bats, and they know how to develop talent. He's up to 52% owned, which is a bit high. Which is just rising. I think he should be even higher owned than that, because if this kid's talent is real, you're talking about 20 plus homers, has some speed, potentially could get you 20 bags. I want to see what the sprint speed looks like for Pages this year before I give you a full determination. Yeah, actually easy. Could give you definitely over 20 steals too, because 83rd percentile in sprint speed. So if you're talking about a guy that can give you 20 homers, maybe 30 steals if the Dodgers start letting him fly here, could be one of the breakout stars of the year. Add him now, Andy Pages, former top prospect outfielder, Los Angeles Dodgers. Matt, I think you're muted, my brother.
You're rubbing off on me. Look at this.
It's my fault. I'll take the blame.
Oh, it totally is. No, there's no question at this point. So, we talked about him on Thursday. Like, I really think that the run he's going on is great.
I don't know how long. I guess I should have listened to Thursday's episode. That's my fault.
You should have. It's all good. This is why you're not in first place. And I am. So, we just keep going there. But, I look at him and I go, all right, I'm going to ride that wave. I don't know how long we're going to see this go, though. That's the only thing. So don't rely on him. And also, if you start getting trade offers for him, if you also want to just move him to kind of sell high on him, that's also something else I'm doing. In those deeper leagues, especially like if you're in like a 12-man to, and higher, like he's probably not available. It's probably more availability in like the 10-man and the 8-man at this point. But, I'm also not afraid to just put him in the trade, the end of the trade, and see if that moves the needle as well. So somebody just keep in mind that isn't just a valuable asset for your team, but also an asset that can help you acquire another player. So definitely add him if he's available in your league, and if you've had him for a while, maybe move him. Just a little spin, a little early look into the early episodes that are coming up this week. But coming up next, we get the rest of these bats that I think we're going to help you, wing your weeks this week in the upcoming week. Coming up next. And Dom, you're muted. So
Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help take your business to the next level. Upwork gives you business flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Finding the right talent, especially if you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who will deliver incredible results. And with fast and easy hiring, when you post a job, it's free and simple. And within a day, multiple qualified candidates you'll have to choose from, right? And, they also have their cost-effective growth instead of hiring full-time. Upwork helps find affordable, top-tier freelancers to scale your business effectively. So visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com. Once again, that's Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. And all right, guys, we're gonna keep things pushing. And I promised you guys 3 Dodgers, so we're doing 3 Dodgers. This one's Hyeseong Kim, not to be confused with Hyeseong Kim. Hyeseong Kim plays for the Dodgers. Just got called up. He was a signing from overseas this year. He plays second and short. He's an interesting guy. He started off the year really hot down in the minors. He's cooled off a bit, but he does have that power speed combo, 253 batting average down in the minors. And I think he's a little bit more of a speculative play, right? If you're in a deep NL only league, or a very competitive 15-man, snag him now, because those leagues, the benches, or the waiver wire rather, gets really depleted fast. He's a guy who has enough talent that I want to see where it goes with him in a league like that. Anything shallow or even a deep 12-man, kind of just want to throw him on the watch list. Hyeseong Kim is 16% owned on Yahoo. And in case you're unfamiliar with him, it's Hyeseong Kim. So check him out. You can do a little bit of research. Has a pretty solid background, back in Japan. Like I said, power speed kind of guy. I just want to see what the Dodgers are going to do with him. If he's playing every day, there's talent here, to be had. And, that's when, I want to see first 2-3 games. If he's out there every day, gets a decent spot in the lineup, I'll add him then, especially if he's doing well. If he's being platooned and the Dodgers dodger him, I don't want to waste the ad. So in those deeper leagues, yeah, you could take the speculative shot because there's a lot of talent here. In your 12-mans and shallower, just watch list him for now and kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, well said. There's always that possibility of being dodgered, but ultimately you take that shot in the deeper leagues, like Dom's saying. But honestly, too, the stolen base upside, I think he's there when he's there. The power pace that he's on in the minors, you've never seen that pace in his Korean or Japanese league, whatever he was playing in prior. And that's kind of the part where I'm just like, okay, maybe this isn't true, like the truth. Maybe he's just just on a heater or selling out for power with the 252 batting average. When you look at his career in overseas, where he's been pretty much a 300 hitter since 2021. So who knows? Maybe he's selling out for power just to adjust to the Major League Baseball in America. But we'll see. Definitely worth an ad and just a speculative ad. I might even do it at a 12-man, 10 team and lower watch list. Let's see if he starts off hot or what that situation looks like Dom said. Let's move on. So about JJ Bleday, Mr. Bleday. Quite honestly, he's not like a long-term play for me whatsoever, but this past week has earned him a spot on this episode, right? Plays for the Athletics. Having a good week. 7 runs, 2 bombs, 2 ribs, batting 250. was able to come out and have back-to-back days with home runs, but that was his stats for pretty much the whole week. Probably a lower priority guy, only 24% owned, pretty much widely open, available. Now, if you're in a pinch this week, you lost Trout or you lost somebody else. Hey, maybe he's a guy that can maybe cover for you for a little bit until we can get some guys back and just kind of ride the wave. Right now, if this is the start of it, and hey, we had 2 back-to-back games where he hit a home run, I might want to see if this journey continues, and if we can get another home run and some production out of him. The Athletics as a whole are looking good. So the potential for him to kind of light up a little bit gets me excited. So I'm adding him. But again, I have no strings attached, and the leash is really short.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. Bleday is going to be more of a deeper league, kind of play. He had, a lot of, high end upside back in 2019. He was drafted in the first round, 4th overall pick. I don't think he'll ever live up to that hype. But last year, Bleday had a decent, year. If you're talking about like a 5 outfielder kind of league, your deep 12s, your 15s, your AL onlys. But they last year, 159 games, 572 at bats, 74 runs, 43 doubles. And don't forget, the Athletics aren't playing in that park in Oakland anymore. So that power could play up a little bit. 4 triples for Bleday last year, 20 homers, 60 RBIs, 2 steals, hit 243, 67 walks to 125 strikeouts. That's a decent player. That's a guy in, your deep 12s, your 15s, your AL onlys that's going to play. That's going to be out there. Your 5 outfielder kind of leagues. He'll play in that. And I think, we're starting to see a little bit of a run here since April 16th, where he went 3 for 4. He's been on a nice little heater since then, showing off the power, as Matt mentioned, of late. And guess what? His last game on May 4th, he was moved up to 3rd in the lineup. So the Athletics have some trust in this kid. I don't think he's going to be great, but you know what? He's a sneaky little ad in those deeper leagues where you need the outfield help, as Matt mentioned, some injuries this past week. And then in other leagues, just watch list him. Just keep him on the watch list, because if this gets serious with Bleday and he's a 250 guy that hits 30 home runs with decent plate discipline, he's gonna play. He's gonna play in a lot of leagues. So don't sneak out, or don't be fooled, by everyone that's talking him down, because I know I hear a lot of hate on a guy like Bleday, but keep him on your watch list and see where this goes. Kid had a lot of talent coming up in the minors in college, so he could be decent. Let's move on to this next guy, though. Let's talk Maikel Garcia of those Royals. I was talking about those Royals earlier, and I said someone else been sitting, and it's been Maikel, man. He's just been solid over like the last 3 years, I want to say. He's got speed. Not really much pop, but it comes in burst, and he hit 2 home runs on the 4th in his last game against Baltimore. He's just been solid. 307 batting average, 7 steals, 12 runs, 12 RBIs. Honestly, he's been hitting 4th and 5th in the lineup of late. Had a 3-steal game back on May 1st. This kid looks like he's going to be in for a strong May. Wow, he's already up to 56. I think even when I checked, literally a couple hours ago, he was about 50% owned. So Maikel Garcia is flying, up the ads list here, 2nd and 3rd eligibility on Yahoo. I think you add him everywhere, just because we know what he does. Steals, a little bit of batting average here and there, can give you those runs. If he's hitting 4th and 5th RBIs as well, I don't want to say a 5-tool guy, but like a cheap 5-tool guy, like a dollar store version of a 5-tool guy, where he can help in every category, not consistently, but here and there. I just like Maikel Garcia because we know who he is. If you need speed and runs and a little bit of average, that's where I'm going to add him. And 2nd and 3rd eligibility is nice because it gives you middle and corner infield, where those leagues, have that eligibility.
Yeah, I mean, he steals bases. That's really just it. That's who he always is to me. Look, last year he had a couple months of real relevance where like he was actually really valuable, but April last year was where he had most of his home runs. He had 4 in that 1 month. He went June with no home runs. He went in September with no home runs and had 1 in July and 1 in August. Look, we're just seeing a really hot start from him, and that's great. I'm all for this. I'm going to ride that wave as long as I humanly can, especially when a guy is batting over the last month at 299 and last week at 435 and stealing me bases. But I'm not going to go and get on the fanboy aspect of, oh, Maikel Garcia is going to be, this really good everyday contributor. No, do not have that expectation. If you have somebody in your league, trade him to that person, but he's not going to do it for you. Now, let me sneak in this last guy in. Colton Mayo of the Baltimore Orioles finally got the call. Him, I'm going to be conservative with. I'm not going to get my expectations high because when he got called up last year, he did diddly. Batted 98, and he struck out so much it was a joke. But after him not making the team this year, him in the minors, 107 at bats, 18 runs, 7 doubles, 2 triples, 6 bombs, 22 ribs, batting 252. That is nice. Can he do that this year after getting the call? First outing didn't, but doesn't mean he's not. He's 11% owned right now. You probably should at least add him based off of just the potential, the prospect pedigree, and see if you could be patient with him for at least a week or two. If he doesn't get it going by the middle of next week, I'm dropping him like it's like he's a bad habit, even faster than I did cigarettes. So Kobe Mayo just literally you need to see where this journey takes you, because there's also a world and a possibility if he can't get his stuff together in the next 2 weeks, he's also back in the minors. There's a reason he didn't make the team. He didn't show enough, but the pedigree's there, and he's a behemoth of a man. Definitely worth a speculative ad in every kind of league.
I was with you until the end there. I think for me, Mayo is probably more of a 15 AL only kind of league guy for me right now. Everywhere else, watch list him. It's just tough because you mentioned him, Matt. Baltimore just has so many good prospects down there. If Mayo doesn't work out, and even Westberg. I have to look for an update. I don't know how bad the injury is. I'm not sure if you know, Matt, off the top of your head.
I'll find out in a minute.
Yeah, if that Westberg injury is pretty bad, I could see Mayo sticking around. But off to a tough start to the first 2 games here for Mayo. Hasn't got a hit yet.
Fielding ground balls.
Okay, so then it might not even be a long-lived thing for Mayo. So definitely 15s AL onlys right now for me. If you need a corner infielder, he plays third on Yahoo, 11% owned. Once again, that's Kobe Mayo of those Baltimore Orioles. But guys, that's all for today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. And thank you, to our everydayers and new listeners for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen each and every day. Guys, after us, make boy Sully over at Locked On MLB your second listen each and every day. But guys, until next time, sorry.
Peace.